staple these, they're going to like fly all over the place. My papers.
You want to hand it to me after you...
I want to make as much noise as possible with my papers.
It'll go for the setting anyways.
Yes, we are going to have a lot of car noise. So real quick. Hi, guys.
Hi.
This is Creatures of the Night podcast, and I am Wendy.
I'm Chris.
And we are going to have a lot of car noise because we're right by the side of the road, major highway route. But we had to stop here because we are in front of the amazing, the impressive Goldfield Hotel.
Wow.
So you'll have to ignore, if you can hear it, the 18-wheelers rolling by.
Because it's going to be one every 2 seconds.
There is no other road in and out of Nevada.
Apparently not.
So we are off the lonely stretch of Route 95.
Yeah.
This is in central Nevada, if you didn't know where Goldfield was. It is a ghost town, or on the verge of being a ghost town. There are around only 350 people. And I told you this yesterday because it was so crazy that it once used to be massive in size.
Yeah.
And then there's only like 3 remaining huge stone buildings.
I'm pretty sure all 300 of the remaining residents are going to drive by while we're here.
And wave. They're very nice.
Very polite. That's true.
So 350 people call this place home. And really the only thing keeping this little town alive is the tourism. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
No, legit. Stopping by this place that isn't even open. That's a hot spot. And then there's the International Car Forest.
Oh, I thought you were going to say House of Pancakes.
Nope, not even one of those.
Damn it.
Or McDonald's or anything.
Nada.
But they do have this cool art exhibit, basically, is what the International Car Forest of the Last Church. That's the full name.
Wow, really?
Yes. It's not haunted, but it's definitely unique and it looks a little spooky. And we could not see it from the road.
Yeah.
We are contemplating that after we're done recording that we take a little hike to it.
Yeah.
But we have to try to find it on a map. I don't see it anywhere.
There's a cemetery around here, too, that we have to visit.
Yeah. I know there's one on the way out, but I thought there was one that was walkable from this location, too. So we might take a little hike after this and check out this International Car Forest, because what it is it's a project by these 2 Nevada artists, Chad Sorg and Mark Ripple. It's like 40 automobiles, including cars, trucks, vans, and they've been balanced delicately on their ends and stacked on top of one another, looking like a group of like toy cars that some giant kid just like left.
It's like stacking stones, right?
Right.
Where you see like along the sides of rivers and lakes.
Yeah.
But these are cars.
But they're cars.
That's awesome. We'll definitely have to go and check that out.
Each of the junk cars has also been uniquely painted with designs varying from skulls to cartoons to like political cartoons and jokes.
They paint them afterwards, so they get all these cars together and then they stack them and then they paint them?
I would think so that the paint doesn't scratch. It would suck if you like painted a mural and then you go to stack them on top and you scratch like your main piece in the center.
It's ruined. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be terrible.
So I'm sure they stacked them and then stood out there painting them and everything.
Okay. That'd be interesting.
Mark started the project. Here comes a big 18-wheeler, everybody. Oh, maybe a motorcycle.
That was the loudest motorcycle ever.
That's weird. No, it's got to be an 18-wheeler coming.
And
nope,
truck.
just a big old diesel truck. That's that Mopar right there, that Hemi.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Back to the car forest. Mark started the project with just 1 car, but Chad spotted his work and he was like, what? I got to be a part of this. So he tracked down Mark and begged for him to join forces with him, and they expanded the project.
Aw. Who was the Jenga man here? Who was like, we're stacking them?
I know he only saw 1 car like balanced on his nose up in the air.
Oh, wow.
So I guess once they did that a few times, they were like, we really need to do something different. Let's just start stacking them on top of each other. I saw one that's like an old VW bus, and it's like balanced over like a ditch or whatever, you know?
You can use it like a bridge?
Yeah, so people like climb in it somehow, and then they take their picture with their feet dangling or whatever.
Nice.
So I was like, I would like that.
That would be us.
Except for, I mean, I imagine they have to climb over there somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not tall enough to climb up.
No.
Oh, they probably get in the back end and climb through. But it's nasty.
Go-Go Gadget legs.
Oh. Did I ever tell you I hated the Go-Go Gadget cartoon?
Did
only
you?
because
Inspector Gadget?
Yes, because it came on right when I had to wake up for school. My mom seemed to always like turn the TV on, and that's how she'd help me like get out of bed.
Okay.
But the sound of the start of that cartoon,
Do-do-do-do-do.
I hated it because I was like, I don't want to get up.
Oh, man. That's terrible.
It's because it was a good cartoon.
It was a great cartoon.
And I just associated with it like, I don't want to get up and go to school.
Oh, man.
Anyways,
my
I
favorite.
appreciate it now.
I appreciate it when I was little. I got to watch it and eat lemon cookies. So
In the morning for school?
No.
It had to have been afterwards.
It was on after school. It was like Heathcliff and then Inspector Gadget. And then I want to say, I don't know, maybe Danger Mouse. It was like a trio of these cartoons that I was just in love with.
I forgot all about Heathcliff.
It would come on. I would be after school at La Petite and they'd sit us down and we'd watch those and they'd feed me lemon cookies. And I
Yes,
was in
that's
heaven.
a great babysitter. Cartoons and cookies.
Yeah.
These kids will be fine.
I was totally
Let's
fine.
pack a dozen more in here. We got this under control. Anyways, Chad and Mark, they broke up, unfortunately.
Aw.
So the project did stop with like these 40 cars. However, the International Car Force is still there just off of this Highway 95 on a dirt road just east of Goldfield. So I'm really bad with like east and west. Maybe it's further out of town.
We will do this thing called using a GPS.
Yes.
We will navigate to it. You know, my sixth sense is not that spot on.
No. But like I said, the showpiece of this town is just driving by this old abandoned building.
Oh my gosh.
And the other couple of abandoned buildings. The high school is a big spot as
yeah.
well.
But it's incredible because at both times that we entered into this town, Wendy's like, there it is, I see it. We haven't even made it here yet. And you can see this
Like
place
from a distance.
From
yeah.
a distance. Yeah, it stands out.
It has such an epic presence.
It really does.
That you can't help. It's like when you see a cow on the side of the road, you're like, there's a cow. So you're like, there's that building.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. It's massive.
Now, for anyone who has not been through the great state of Nevada, let me paint a picture for you of what we were doing yesterday. You enter into Nevada, you see the Hoover Dam. Wow, that's impressive, right? You see Las Vegas. Wow, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go for hours in dirt and dust and mountains. There are mountains.
Yeah, there are mountains.
But it's just continuously the same image for hours.
And Wendy's like, I wonder where the next gas station is.
Oh, that was scary. I didn't even want to tell you how nervous I was about that.
I know. It made me nervous too. I mean, I get it. We're on a long stretch of desert highway forever. And it's like, and I only have 150 miles left. So how much
for
longer do we
diesel
have to go?
too.
Yeah,
So it's like, I got to find the right gas station.
Wow.
But like we said, then you pull up and all of a sudden it's like, bam, there's a town.
There's
Well, there's some buildings and then there's this massive building.
Here it is. We're here.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The only reason I know of the Goldfield Hotel, as a lot of people I would think only know of it from the Ghost Adventures documentary.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That seems to be what most people would say, like other people that have investigated, that they didn't know about it until the infamous brick flying video at the end of their documentary.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what got them their TV show.
Yeah, I think so.
Because how often do you see poltergeist activity that's a flying, threatening brick?
Right. Never. It's
It doesn't-
rare. You hear about it all the time, but to actually get it documented, that's a completely different thing.
Right. And then they had official people like look at it and be like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, these were like kind of scummy looking, like it was the beginning. They, you know, they couldn't call up on like the Harvard professor, but you know, they got somebody at the community college.
He had a really cool name too, because I remember watching it. It was like Scummy Rick or something like that.
That was the
Ricky
video
Rick?
photographer guy. So they actually did ask a professor of physics too to look at it. And that was from like, I think a community college, not to diss community colleges.
No.
But yes, they did. They had this video guy. I was like cracking up about
His
that.
name was so funny. It
it
was go like first and last name. It was.
I think I wrote it down somewhere, but at the moment I cannot tell you. And maybe I didn't. Maybe I just had a good laugh about it. Oh, Slim Rick.
That's it.
Slim
Rick.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Yep, it's right here.
So
he
funny.
confirmed. Yes, there was no tampering with that video.
Which, you know, everyone needs a Slim Rick, I think, to confirm that type of information. I mean, when Slim Rick gives his seal of approval, you know.
We should call him because they don't use him anymore.
Right. What's he doing these days?
Right. We should definitely look him up because I'm sure he's in Vegas.
He's got to be.
So just to warn you, this long weekend trip that we have planned, that will be our next, like, you know, couple of months of episodes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of Nevada stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens to be a lot of stuff that Ghost Adventures also investigated.
Which is not a bad thing.
It's not.
We're just kind of going and checking out the places that we've seen on TV that everyone has also seen on TV.
Right.
Wouldn't you like to know a little bit more about the story? I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, don't get it twisted. This is not like the GAC fangirl tour or anything like that. This is just where Ghost Adventures introduced us to these locations and we were intrigued enough.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to check out these places for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I kind of go with the fangirl thing.
We are Ghost Adventures fans. Their show is entertaining. The locations that they visit are are interesting, not just these, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
And some of their evidence is very impressive. Now, we even talk shit about some of the stuff they consider evidence, but there is some stuff that seems really legit, or you can't understand how they would have faked it.
Yeah.
With that said, though, you have to know that we don't believe everything that we see on TV is real paranormal evidence, or that the Goldfield Hotel is pure evil or something dark lingers within its hallways.
Yeah, right.
But nor do either of us assume that we know anything about other people's experiences and call them liars when we weren't there.
Right.
This building has a lot of history from a time when the West was still pretty wild.
Yeah.
So you can see where there's some dark things that went on here.
Oh, yeah.
The town of Goldfield was born when gold was discovered in 1902. And within just a few short years, it became the largest city in Nevada, as millions of dollars in ore was extracted from area mines. In addition to its numerous saloons, the city once boasted 3 newspapers, 5 banks, a mining stock exchange, and a population of 35,000.
5 banks.
5 banks. That's a lot of fucking money coming through.
I do not even have 5 banks in a town that I live in right now. That is a lot of money.
I don't have 5 banks, probably.
Yeah, that's impressive.
However, like other cities whose only reason for being was its mining industry, when the ore played out, so did the town. And in just 8 years after Goldfield was founded, the volume of ore began to decrease, and many of its residents began to move to more prospective claims.
So 8 years, this town was huge, booming, and then in 8 years, it's already seeing a decline.
Tanking. Yeah. Whoa. She saw a ghost.
That's insane.
Oh my God. It's getting her. Oh, it's a him.
Oh, yeah, it's
He
him.
says, no, don't go. The ghost will get you. There's a family that pulled up.
Yeah, they're checking out the
And
awesome
the little
building
kids
behind us.
like have no clue what's going on. They were like, why do we have to stop here, Mom?
I don't know, but kids, sometimes are sensitive, so we might want to
Maybe
pay
that
attention.
kid, that
he was
toddler
freaking
did
out.
pick up something.
Yeah.
Get off that porch. There's all those demon ghosts there. So by 1920, the gold was almost gone and the town was reduced to just about 1,500 people.
Wow.
3 years later, a devastating fire wiped out 27 blocks of homes and businesses, lessening the town's population even more.
That's a serious fire.
Yeah.
27 blocks.
Yeah. Well, look at this wood building that we're in front of. I mean, like,
there's no sprinkler
don't
system.
smoke near this shit.
No,
It'd
no
be
kidding.
gone.
I mean, and this is back in what, 1920?
1920s.
Yeah, so they were probably using water buckets. I mean, they had fire engines, but like, where was
out in the middle of nowhere?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But through all of this, the Goldfield Hotel remained a centerpiece of the town, and for good reason. As it's visually impressive, as we've stressed enough to you guys, it also marks the history of the area, the once grandeur that was here.
I mean, it's still pretty grand. It's just in a
In
more ominous way.
dilapidated
Yeah,
state.
dilapidated in a haunted way.
Yeah. In 1908, the Goldfield Hotel opened amidst an array of fanfare. Built on the former site of the Nevada Hotel, which had burned down in a fire in 1905, the hotel was first owned by J. Franklin Douglas and several other investors.
Okay.
The 4-story building of stone and brick cost over $300,000 to build.
Yes.
In that time, that's a lot of money.
That's a ton of money in that time.
Yeah. And it included 154 rooms with telephones and electric lights and heated steam. That was a big deal.
Yeah. For like the bath, heated steam, or for like ironing out your clothes?
I think for heat.
Oh, just to make it warmer.
Yeah, like a radiator.
Ah.
Because that's steam, right?
That's what I needed last night when I was freezing. Yes. Okay, gotcha.
It's so weird, too, because it was like 69 in our room.
I'm telling
Couldn't have
every
been
single
that
time
cold.
we stay at a haunted hotel, I wake up in the middle of the night freezing.
Which I told you now I'm starting to think it's your husband.
Right.
Because your husband like radiates heat and you're not with him. You're with me. I'm cold like a reptile and I'm way on the other side of the bed too.
Yeah.
Like trying not to be in your way because I toss and turn.
It makes a lot of sense.
So you're all alone in the bed and you're like, I'm so cold.
When it happened this morning, I'm like, okay, clearly it's not paranormal. This happens every time I'm with Wendy. It's just, I freeze without my
That's
husband.
crazy. For like 7 years we thought it was.
Because it's always haunted hotels that we're in.
Right. I mean, and so you're looking for something.
Yeah.
And it's not normal for you to be cold natured.
No.
And I'm like warm when it happens. So we're like, oh my God.
It's always a ghost. Always.
Now we just think it's
Now
your husband's fault.
Clearly not paranormal.
Someone.
He's going to love that.
Blame it on him.
Yeah.
So back to the Goldfield Hotel. It was immaculate. The lobby was paneled with mahogany and furnished in black leather upholstery. Beneath gold leaf ceilings signs, and crystal chandeliers.
Yeah.
The hotel imported chefs from Europe and boasted one of the first Otis elevators west of the Mississippi.
That's funny.
The Mizpah made a big deal about their elevator too.
Well, yeah, they did make a big deal about it, saying that it was one of the first electric elevators or whatever. But I don't know if it was an Otis. I think the one that was in Jerome was an Otis, wasn't it?
I don't know. Elevators are very important, apparently. That's a status symbol, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Did you see something about the speed of that elevator, though?
No. Did you see
Yeah, I
something
did.
about the one at the Mizpah?
No, the one about this one here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really funny. They made a big deal about how fast it was going, but like in actuality, that only equates to like 5 miles or something. It was actually really, really slow. I mean, back then it was probably super fast, but.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they were not taking the stairs.
No. Right, exactly. Think of that. Yeah, with their luggage and their big heavy skirts and the jackets and everything. They're like, I don't care how slow it is. If it's going to carry me to the top, doing it.
I'm not going up those fucking stairs and the little tight shoes that the ladies had to wear and stuff.
All the buttons on the ankles and everything.
Yes. Can't show those ankles.
No.
So it was considered to be the most luxurious hotel between Chicago and San Francisco. It appealed to society's upper crust, making it an immediate success. However, shortly after the hotel was built, it was sold to mining magnate George Winfield, the primary owner of the Goldfield Consolidated Mines Company, and hotel entrepreneur Casey McDaniel, who created a new hotel corporation called Bonanza Hotel Company.
That's awesome. I don't know why, but I thought you were going to say bananas. And I'm like, what? Bananas Hotel Company?
You know how much I love that word. Though George Winfield owned a majority interest of the Bonanza Hotel Company, his principal partner, Casey, managed and operated the hotel.
Okay.
As an owner of the Goldfield Consolidated Mine Companies, Winfield was a multimillionaire by the age of 30 and became a political powerhouse in the state of Nevada. After making his fortune in the Goldfields, he went on to own a chain of banks, numerous ranches, and several Reno hotels, in addition to owning this hotel and having an interest in the Bonanza Hotel Company. Active in political party circles in the 1920s, he became the reputed boss of both the Democrat and Republican parties. It's kind of like playing both sides.
Oh, yeah,
isn't it?
he was.
Yeah,
Yes.
he just driven that way. George Wingfield's power was legendary and was publicly demonstrated when the collapse of 12 of his banks in 1932 almost led to the entire state's economic ruin.
Shit. Dude.
He owned this fucking place,
Oh, yeah.
basically.
Yeah, he did.
In 1923, the Goldfield Hotel was sold to Newton Crumley, another hotel entrepreneur. But Crumley evidently also aspired to make a profit from the gold in the area, so he dug 2 mine shafts beneath the hotel in 1925.
Okay.
However, both resulted into dry holes. There was nothing there.
Man, but that's kind of nice to have it right underneath your hotel, right?
Yeah, like it's such an easy commute to work,
is.
basically.
It's such an easy commute.
Because I imagine he could just live here. you know?
Yeah.
Whoa, they're going to come and poop on our heads.
I know.
That was the pigeons taking off. I doubt you guys heard their little wings, but...
Yeah, it sounded like they were giving us applause for a minute there. Their little
yes, that is a
pigeon
good
claps.
idea.
Yes, love it. Thanks.
When Goldfield was in its heyday, the hotel entertained all manner of influential people. However, as the gold began to play out and Goldfield's population diminished, the Goldfield Hotel began to gradually decline.
Yeah.
By the 1930s, when the town supported fewer than 1,000 souls, it had become little more than a flophouse for cowboys and travelers just passing through.
So this was like a grand, luxurious hotel. And
Yeah.
Flophouse kind of sounds like it's just like a Days Inn now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
not to try and knock Days Inn. I'm just saying
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
we
as...
can knock Days Inn, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm sure there's some very nice ones out there and they're
Yeah, right.
affordable and clean.
Days Inn by Marriott. So maybe more like a Red Roof.
I'm just saying, they're on the lower end of things.
Yeah,
You're not
right.
going to have the amenities. So they had this big grand building with, mahogany and crystal chandeliers. And they got fucking cowboys in here dropping their ashes on the floor and spitting in platoons.
Oh, yeah.
They're just in here acting like they're a rowdy bunch because they're not going to change.
Do you think they changed the front door so that it had like one of those swinging style
No.
cowboy doors to go along with it? No?
No, I'm sure they kind of kept the same stuff. It's just that it wasn't respected the same way. So that was kind of the decline of the whole building. People started having like fucking fights and shootouts in here. I mean, rich people can get dirty too and have some secret stuff, but they usually
pull out a glove.
Yeah, they'll be like poisoning someone or strangling someone.
Right, exactly.
Cowboys just fucking shoot you down in the middle of the lobby and is, excuse me, can you take that outside?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We were working in here and you just ruined my day. Now I have to clean up all this blood.
Then during World War II, it housed Army Air Corps personnel assigned to the Tonopah Air Base, 25 miles north of Goldfield.
Oh, wow.
But after the soldiers checked out of the hotel in 1945, the hotel closed its doors forever. They've been closed since 1945.
Damn.
It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1982 as a contributing property in the Goldfield Historic District, which pretty much the whole town is a part of the Goldfield Historic District.
Yeah, we walked around and every single one of them has
Have
these
a
big
plaque
official
on it. Yeah.
plaques. Yeah.
Over the years, the hotel has changed hands numerous times, with each new owner promising to restore and reopen the old property. In 1995, the building was bought by a San Francisco investor named Lester O'Shear, whose plans looked as if they might really happen.
Yeah.
However, a few years later, when his restoration project was about 85% complete, so he did 85% work on it.
That's a whole hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, but then his company went bankrupt.
Damn.
And the property reverted back to the county.
That sucks.
So in 2003, the county auctioned off the old hotel, and a rancher named Eggard Red Roberts was the only bidder and bought the hotel for $360,000.
Wow.
I'm not sure. Well, I mean, obviously Red's doing some work. There's people in there now. I don't know what they're doing, though, because it looks exactly the same as when I saw it 3 years ago.
Yeah, except that guy's
It
not
actually
out
looks a
sweeping the
little
front
worse.
Whatever they did worse to it.
Reportedly, though, Roberts is, like I said, trying to refurbish it. We see him working on it. He is trying to do the bottom 2 floors of the hotel back to the way it used to look, and then he would open it up to the public.
Just the bottom 2 floors?
Yeah. He wants a little casino and 40 guest rooms on those 2 floors.
Can't wait for that to open.
But not all of the space.
Wow.
However, like we said, it's 2003 when he bought it. It's 2020.
So
and then
he's
here
had some
we go.
time, is what you're saying.
Some time. It has not progressed very far.
Yeah.
Most believe the work has been hampered by vandalism over the
Yeah.
past few years and blame that on the attention it has received as one of the most haunted locations in Nevada.
Ghost hunters, y'all stop fucking around. Don't vandalize places.
Oh my God, why would you even do that?
It's a
The
historic
ghosts
place.
do not like that.
No. I mean, they're not going to actually talk to you if you're vandalizing where they're, happy or stuck.
Well, they say vandalizes, and it could just very well mean that, they broke out a window to get in. That's still vandalism.
Yeah.
And I respect that the current owners are super paranoid. They've got signs that say no trespassing. They've got some surveillance cameras out. When we were here, stopped by yesterday to take pictures, all of a sudden a car pulled up that we thought was trying to tell us, like, get the fuck out.
Yep.
They didn't tell us that.
No.
But it was just really weird how they were parked. I mean, maybe they just left their cell phone inside or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We didn't see anybody in the car, but we never saw anybody get out. So we just assumed that they were still in there. The windows were tinted.
Who knows? I mean, the workers right now are parked right where that car was yesterday, so it could have just been a worker, but we thought that they were watching us.
Yeah, like get out of here.
Yeah. But they didn't say anything to that family that just came up, so maybe we were wrong about that car yesterday.
We usually just assume the worst in everything.
It is understandable, though, for them to be paranoid if they've had people break in to be in the building. You should never do that. You trespass, like, after hours at a grave or whatever. We're walking around outside. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying.
It's different. If you're going and you're tearing up gravestones.
That's bad.
You're breaking and entering.
I just meant walking around a property outside.
Yeah.
But you do not enter into anybody's building without permission.
Yeah.
So I understand them being cautious.
Especially if they're destroying stuff.
But that doesn't mean that they haven't allowed people in.
Yeah.
So there has been people that were lucky enough to investigate this location. Obviously Ghost Adventures, but there have also been other groups that I've seen. I watched a YouTube video from Hollywood Paranormal Detectives.
Yeah.
And that was just from last year.
Oh, that's good.
So I think if you know somebody that knows somebody that can get a hold of Red, then you could potentially get in here. But we don't know somebody that knows somebody that knows Red.
No.
So we went to the Mizpah last night instead.
Right. We stayed there instead.
Really nice.
It was a beautiful hotel.
It was.
It's luxury. Like, it has carpeting and walls are finished.
And a bed.
And an air conditioner and a bed and all the
bathrooms.
Yeah. It has those things.
After like a 9-hour day of driving, I think that was kind of a better choice than this. Not to be like a bougie ghost hunter. I also just had no idea how I would get a hold of Red.
Yeah.
I looked. There was no phone numbers to call anybody.
Yeah.
But people have gotten inside, and many say that there are several ghosts in the old hotel, hotel, but the most famous one is a woman named Elizabeth, or called Elizabeth, because they're not real sure.
Yeah.
According to the legend, Elizabeth was the mistress, or possibly a regular sex worker for Mr. George Winfield, who did visit the hotel frequently, so people say.
Yeah.
And some people contradict that, saying he was just an investor, you know?
Yeah.
But when she became pregnant and she told Winfield that it was his child, at first he said, okay, well, I'll give you some money. I just need you to leave town, go away, stop telling people it's my kid. But she came back and he got fearful that a scandal would break out. So apparently he locked her up in room 109 of this hotel and fed her and kept her alive until the baby was born. Then when the baby was born, he killed her and he killed the baby.
I have a theory about that.
Well, some people say that she might have died in childbirth.
Yeah, that's true.
And that the baby might have died too or whatever.
So I have a feeling if he really liked her, he just didn't want to have to deal with this baby. He just wanted to get the baby out of the picture, right? She's like, no, I want to keep my baby, but she doesn't say anything to him. So he unchains her so that she can have the baby, right? But then she's loose. And I bet she struggled. She tried to keep the baby. She didn't want him to have it.
Yeah.
He probably just accidental. Not like I'm saying that's better, but because there's these two theories that it could be this or it could be that, I was wondering the same thing.
Does it make sense if he was planning on killing both of them? Why did he
would
even keep them alive? Why did he
alive?
just kill a pregnant woman?
Exactly. I think he did want to keep her alive, and she probably in the end was like, you're not going to do that with my baby.
Or vice versa. He was going to take the baby, but he doesn't seem like somebody that wants a baby.
Yeah, no. He's all about himself.
Yeah. I mean, so what was he going to do with this baby? I guess if it was like a boy, maybe he thought he'd give it up to like a nurse somewhere and he'd have an heir. But an heir from a possible sex worker? I mean, would you go around bragging about that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that I have a problem with that, but I'm saying...
For this guy.
Yeah.
It
I
didn't seem
don't
like that was his
know.
thing.
So you raise a good point that I didn't think about. Maybe he was hoping her or the baby, he was looking for one of them to be alive, and one of them possibly died of natural causes that he did not plan for.
Sure. Well, he wasn't a doctor, and if she did die, then he's like, what am I going to do with this kid?
Yeah, she's giving birth in a room all by herself
Chained
and
to a
stuff like that.
radiator?
She was probably not healthy.
Right.
So somebody might have passed naturally, and then he was like, well, I don't need this baby, or I don't need you if I don't have the baby, or he was planning on killing them all along. Who knows? But it does make sense that one of them would die of natural causes, because why would he not just kill her when he found out she was pregnant?
That's why my mind went, because there were the two theories on that, and it didn't make sense that he would keep her alive and then be like, and now.
Stab, stab.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's awful.
That's really weird.
They didn't find baby bones, but they did find female bones here as well.
Oh, shit, seriously?
They didn't identify them to anybody's names, but behind the building, they have found, like, female bones.
Ghost Adventures found them?
No, the police found them.
Oh, okay.
At some point,
Wow.
during, like, some kind of construction.
Oh, man. Like, probably the construction that's going on right now. Maybe they're finding some more
Maybe
stuff.
they're finding more.
Maybe that's why there's no construction going on right now.
They're back there examining it. I don't know. Could be a dog bone. That's not really funny.
No, it's not. No.
Sorry, that was dark.
That's what you get here, guys. Our dark sense of humor. The birds didn't like that.
What? I thought that was applaud in their voice. But after all this, there was rumors that Elizabeth's spirit haunted Wingfield until his own death, and the sound of a crying baby could sometimes be heard in the hotel, and it sounded like it was coming like from the basement or something.
That's not good.
As we said, there's holes in this legend. Some say that Elizabeth died sometime in the 30s, but Wingfield didn't even own the hotel then.
Oh.
And some people say he didn't hang out here. He was just an investor. The other guy ran the place. There's also the problem with they said the baby was thrown in the mine shaft, but the mine shaft was done by the next owner.
Oh, okay, after him.
So they weren't even here when he owned the building.
Right, right.
The truth is that Elizabeth's story has mostly been told by psychics and paranormal investigators, not historians. So they're filling in these pieces from their evidence or their senses. Some of the information could just be misinterpreted, Maybe they're confusing Wingfield for Crumley, the other owner. And maybe this did happen when Wingfield owned the hotel. They just got the dates wrong. Like, who said Elizabeth died in the 30s?
Right.
Maybe she died in the 20s.
Yeah.
See, Wingfield is my prime suspect on this, not Crumley, because he was kind of a bad dude.
Yeah.
There is a documented lawsuit filed against him in 1904 by one May Barrick.
This is my favorite part.
So she claimed to be Mrs. Wingfield by common law and tried to sue George for divorce. She accused him not only of emotional and physical abuse, but also intentionally infecting her with syphilis.
That's because that dude was a bad dude.
Yeah, when you fuck around a whole lot. Were there condoms? I think there were some kind of situation.
But that right there, that's why it does point more towards him, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, because so she tries to sue him, and he gave her a mere $400 to take care of their child.
Yep.
They had a child, and then he told her, get the fuck out of town.
Yeah. Sounds like something he tried to do already. And your earlier
I don't want to be a part of this.
Right.
So, it's weird because we were like, maybe he did want that baby, or maybe he wanted her, but I don't know. Maybe he did maybe he liked killing people because he didn't want to take care of either one of them.
Yep. He just wanted to fuck around and make a lot of money and be the big boss. So she is common law wife, which means they were together for long enough to be considered a common law wife. That's what she's saying that she was. He didn't dispute that. It didn't seem like he disputed anything. He's just like, okay, fine, $400, get out of my hair.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He's a multimillionaire.
Right.
He throws
That's
$400 at her.
Yeah.
Lord knows what kind of abuse he put her through.
Right.
And he doesn't feel bad about it at all.
No.
She's just one of many.
Yeah, I don't like him. I've already developed my own opinion on him.
Do you know he had a room dedicated to him at the Mizpah Hotel? I took a picture of it.
Stop it. Seriously,
Yeah.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah. I don't know if he ever stayed there, or they had a
because of
lot
Nevada
of rooms dedicated to just prominent people in Nevada.
You took a picture of it, though.
Yeah, I did take a picture of the
Okay.
plaque, and I was just like, this motherfucker is like a supposed murderer, shithead.
Yeah.
Just abandoning ladies and children and stuff. And
Yeah.
they're like, look at this great man.
Yeah.
Let's give him a room. Well, they did have some other rooms dedicated to like dark situations.
Yeah,
so
they did.
maybe that's the angle they're going there.
That's crazy. I didn't even notice that.
So the idea of Wingfield treating another woman so harshly isn't a far-fetched idea. So this allows the legend of Elizabeth to go on.
Yeah.
When the apparition of Elizabeth has been cited, she has been described as having long flowing hair, wearing a white gown, and looking terribly sad as she paces the hallways calling out for her child.
That's horrible.
Most reported seeing her in room 109, which is often described as being intensely cold. And while most people report that their cameras function normally everywhere else in the hotel, they claim it is very common for cameras to refuse to work in 109.
Interesting. You think it's like an energy drain? Like she's just trying. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
That she's just using it. Or she's like, no pictures, please.
No pictures, please.
I'm not looking my
Yeah,
best.
this is my best look.
Plus, most visitors have spontaneously bursted into tears for no apparent reason upon entering Elizabeth's prison room.
Overwhelming emotion.
Yeah, absolutely. Sensitives, I would imagine that happens a lot to
Yeah.
them. But Elizabeth is by no means alone in the Goldfield Hotel.
Unfortunately.
This is a blank piece of paper.
Oh, I thought that was the part where you just made the rest of it up. And here's all the other ghosts you'll encounter here.
They have the demon goblin. That's me making shit up, guys. There are 2 ghosts who reportedly committed suicide on the 3rd floor of the hotel.
Oh, what?
Both have said to have been sighted by more than a dozen people. However, these sad souls' identities are not known, but it's believed that one is a woman who hanged herself, while the other is said to be a man who jumped to his death from the hotel. Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be good.
No, I mean, if he went all the way to the top, I mean, clearly not from the 2nd floor. He'd break a leg or something.
They didn't necessarily say it was from his room either, so
Yeah, okay.
could be from the top.
I know a lot of people do that. They commit suicide and stuff in hotels.
Yeah, so that their families don't have to. Yeah, we see that. And on the 1st floor, near the lobby stairs, which you can kind of see through the windows, lingers 3 little spirits that are said to be pranksters, sneaking up behind people and tapping their backs before giggling and dancing away.
Dancing?
Yeah.
How cute.
Plus, George Wingfield's presence has been felt near that very same staircase. And many believe the smell of cigar smoke, as well as like random piles of ashes, are found. They think that's him showing that he was there.
Yeah, he's still like walking around showing he's still here. I'm in charge.
Just leaving his ash fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be a fancy hotel, dude.
Yeah, they talk about having a cigar room down in the basement.
Oh.
So you would think you would find it there, but they say it's on the 1st floor. But back in the day, I don't know. Did they just drop swept it because they just had
yeah.
cigars hanging from their mouths all the time.
Yeah, someone would come and sweep it up.
Yeah, right. But it should be said that Wingfield did not die here, but he spent a good time here. And I mean, if you fucking killed somebody here,
Yeah, there's a
to
lot of emotion.
somebody's, it's like, what's that? It's like a Horcrux in Harry Potter. You leave a little bit of your soul behind.
That's true. And maybe
There's
that's
some truth
exactly
in that wizardry. It might be a children's book, but I'm reading it like it's my book of shadows. So I don't know. I think the Wingfield thing, if he is haunting the place, it could be residual versus intelligent.
Oh.
Though there are some people that say that they get like bad feelings here and stuff. But I mean, that could be one of those gunfighters or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
They get to be tough dudes and not want you invading their space.
Or bad feelings could be associated with those who decided to commit suicide.
Yes, that dark, oppressive feeling. Yeah. Many psychics have visited the old hotel. They claim that it is a gateway to another world. And some of the more theatrical visitors think that there's a vortex down in the basement to the 7 gates of hell itself.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
So the whole vortex thing was one thing that really intrigued me about this location.
Yeah.
Portal to hell, especially.
Of course.
So I took it on Google Maps and drew a straight line to Bobby Mackey's portal to hell, which I thought was incredibly interesting that you could do that. Now, clearly, there's a lot of distance that you have to travel in between.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not suggesting ley lines. I don't know if there are, but it is interesting to me that portal to hell, bam, straight line, portal to hell.
Yeah, and we talked
Kentucky.
about that with the good spiritual vortexes. There's also bad spiritual vortexes that run on these parallel lines around the world. So that's impressive.
That's crazy though, right?
Well, if you think about it, this place is supposed to be like so haunted because people died here. What keeps them trapped here?
Right.
All these different entities. Because it's not just one story, it's multiple people's stories.
Right.
So yeah, they could have just imprinted themselves on the space, or there could be some kind of energy in the space that keeps them there.
Or if it's a portal, because we don't have a lot of history on the other entities that are here.
Yeah, that they're coming from other places.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Other time frames, whatever, they just have manifested here for some reason.
Yeah, that is cool.
I liked it.
Yeah. So from what I've seen on TV, because we can't investigate it ourselves, it's definitely haunted. I know how Ghost Adventures runs their show, but when you watch some YouTube videos, it didn't seem very bad.
Yeah.
So I don't think what's there is necessarily evil. Everybody could be cranky.
Yes.
I mean, a flying brick is problematic.
Right.
But it didn't hit him.
No, it didn't.
So it was more like, hey, get out of here.
Yeah. You know what, though? Honestly, he might have interrupted a game of brick throwing that the ghosts like to play. And
yeah, like
it
when
wasn't
they're
coming
hurling stones and stuff
right.
like that back in the old days.
Yeah.
That's their only form of entertainment.
That was it, you know? And
hey, that makes sense. So I got some notes. They're very shittily on here. They didn't make it into my typed story.
I love your notes.
So we're going to go through this actual notebook piece of paper that I made notes watching 2. Ghost Adventures have been here twice for their documentary, and then a few years later, they came to investigate another building, and they happened to just run into Red, which is what I was hoping would happen to us today.
And we're sitting here, Red.
And then we just like, excuse me, can we come in? Because that's what they pulled off.
Oh.
But, I mean, we're still here. Whenever he pulls up, you see an old guy in a trucker hat.
He's got to come by and see what these guys are doing today, right?
Yeah, he's got to check on these workers.
Yeah.
He's probably be here soon. But I also did watch, like I said, that Hollywood Paranormal Detectives, they investigated the location, and that was more recently than Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
And the evidence that they got, it was kind of a quiet night, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
They did use a spirit box, and they've got some responses that were fairly interesting. They got some obvious responses that were interesting. I'm not really going to talk about them because they were spirit box responses, you know, and they're questionable.
Right.
And they didn't necessarily line up with exactly what they might have just asked. But the responses made sense.
Yeah.
But they were a little random.
Okay.
What I did find interesting is that their spirit box responses were mostly a female voice.
Oh.
They did get a male once or twice, I think more on the first and basement floors, but they continuously got a female voice that almost sounded the same.
Huh.
And it was very sad sounding.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and I think they realized too at some point in time that it wasn't very active going on.
Right.
So they're like, what's wrong with us? They got like us. They're like, what, do you not like us? You know, why are you not responding to any of the stuff that we're trying to provoke you with? In a nice way, provoke. But they asked, are you afraid of us? And they got a yes.
Wow.
And then after that, they got stop in a like kind of whiny voice, and it came through like twice.
Ooh.
Like they just, or like, you're scaring me, go away.
Are these all dudes?
Yes, it was 3 dudes. So I don't know if that's what scared her.
Yeah.
But nobody else was really seemed to be interacting with them. They, like I said, they did get a male voice once or twice, random kind of words. They saw a shadow figure I had a hard time seeing it myself, but I was on my phone, and maybe it would be better if I was in a dark room. I don't know. Watching it.
Right.
But I really thought the spirit box responses were unique.
Yeah.
And I thought it made sense that the spirits don't come out as much for everybody because they're a little like, hey, we're usually here all by ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Who are you walking around?
Yeah, you're not Tom or Pete that work on the floors every day.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
And so they were not coming out for them.
Yeah. They were a little intimidated, I'm sure.
So on the Ghost Adventures episodes, when they first visited for the documentary and they interviewed the caretaker and Red, they said that there was a piano in here that would play by itself. I can't see the piano anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to it. They said there was a ghost of a male gunslinger, which Ghost Adventures got a shadow on the floor that he is often seen. In room 109, they had equipment failure, just like they say happens.
Yeah.
And then I told you in the car about this, but Zach was sitting down and there was like a light anomaly, an orb that floated along his arm as if caressing it.
Yeah, that's
so that
very
was
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, back in their documentary, they were way into orbs, which I was so ashamed to hear. I mean, they would take photos and be like, look, there's an orb, there's an orb. It's like, oh no, honey.
Yeah, right.
They don't do that anymore. They learned their lesson. But, orbs on film is a totally different thing.
It's different. Watching movement and stuff.
The Hollywood Paranormal also got an orb. I told you about that.
Yeah.
They saw an orb on camera, and then they saw the shadow right after
it.
So that was impressive.
That is very interesting because those two could be connected.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being like a dust particle or a bug, like seeing an orb and then seeing a shadow person.
And I believe, though I didn't write it down, I think when Zach had the orb crest his arm, I think they at least got an EVP response after that.
Really?
I think so.
Were you going to mention it about the orb with the Hollywood Paranormal team? Is that they saw the shadow person with their own eyes, but they caught the orb on camera?
Yes. It was one of the investigators that said, I just saw a shadow, but the camera was behind them, like probably stationary on a tripod or something, that caught the orb. So they weren't aware of that.
Yeah.
They weren't aware of the two things happening at once.
I remember you bringing that up because I thought it was interesting how it could be the same thing just coming through in two different forms. Your eyes can see one thing and the camera
sees it a different way.
Yep.
Yeah, that was interesting
to
cool. see. So Virginia, she's the one that used to be a caretaker here.
That's nice, huh, guys?
And she ran Ghost Adventures through on both of the episodes when they were here. Virginia's the coolest old lady ever.
I like her.
Yes, I loved her. She's very spiritual, you can tell, and very connected with the spirits here. Virginia claims that she has been picked up and pushed against the wall.
Oh, no.
But that doesn't stop her from coming in here. She said that happened when she brought some friends with her and they were trying to get rid of the ghost. They were trying to sage it or something like that.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, and somebody didn't like it.
Wow. I mean, they were trying to move him on, basically, in kind of a peaceful way with sage. I hope it was peaceful. I
would assume Virginia's friends were very respectful.
Yeah,
because she seems like a spiritual person.
Yeah.
So I think that it was probably done in a nice way, but I bet those gunfighters were like, fuck you, I like it here.
Yeah, and they got rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was the flying brick. We already talked about that. The infamous flying brick happened to Ghost Adventures on their first trip.
Slim Ricky.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ghost Adventures has been here 3 times, but one of them wasn't filmed. They did like a public tour here in 2010. That was their second trip.
Was that when they did Bobby Mackey's with like Nick Groff and things like that? Because they were
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we just missed out on that whole thing somehow.
Well, we didn't have the money.
We didn't have the cash flow. Our kids were still younger.
Yeah.
When they came back that second time, they were, joined by other people, and they were all up on one of the floors, I think the same one that they see the gunslinger at, and rocks started getting thrown at them.
Jeez, man. That's
Yeah.
I didn't like them. Get out of here. They couldn't pick them up and throw them against the wall, so they're like pebbles. Yeah.
They also said one of them, I can't remember which one it was, they started feeling sick to their stomach. I think it might have been Nick. And they got an EVP that said, now let's get Zach.
Oh, wow. Coming for you, bro.
Yeah.
It's interesting that there's a lot of picking up of the gunslingers and the deceased woman. There's mention of kids, but there's not a whole lot going on with them. The tricksters.
Right. I know. I don't know who's ever run into these kids.
Yeah.
Because I just see this gunslinger and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
There might only be 2 ghosts here.
Well,
they
and
just
the
get
guy
around the whole
with
place.
the ashes. Yeah, right.
Maybe that's the cowboy, though.
It could be.
I mean,
he got him some fine
they can smoke cigars.
Sure.
So going back to just some of the coolest points of their evidence, they were joined by Debbie and Mark Constantino.
Yeah.
They got some great live playback of EVPs during that. I swear, I don't know how those people ever got like such clear shit. And they use that Panasonic recorder, and now you cannot find those.
They're EVPs from when they came with the news crew to kind of basically see if Zach and Aaron were full of shit. Those were the best EVPs. They give you goosebumps.
It's just like you or me speaking directly
So-
into the recorder.
yes.
And they're playing it back. So you see everybody that's there and
Watching
you just saw
faces.
nobody was talking.
No, I think Debbie Constantino might have been able to have a spiritual connection with these.
And she just said, speak directly into this.
Speak directly
Loud
into this.
in your, your outside voice.
Yeah, you're right, exactly.
And it worked.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. And
They
said,
just did exactly what she said.
and no, we did actually throw that brick. Confirmed. Oh, see?
Yeah.
They're okay.
Well,
Done. That was great. I'm definitely going to link that because I loved it. I think we have a pigeon audience.
that's nice. As long as you subscribe,
Like and subscribe.
leave a review.
Mm-hmm.
They have little beaks. They can type.
They can.
So on one of these visits, Nick heard a loud male voice. They also heard a female voice. It was like they were fighting with each other.
Oh, wow.
And then as soon as they got up to where they thought this was all coming from, it got quiet.
Oh, boy.
Like, oh, the neighbors are watching. So they cut that shit out. And it was loud. It wasn't like on recorder. They heard it with their own ears. And you could hear it too.
So they recorded it through the camera then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just on their video camera.
That's cool.
Oh, and then they got rocks thrown at them again.
Wow.
But this was just like one rock got thrown at Zach.
Hmm.
And you could see him flinch and everything.
Ugh.
He's like, what? Yeah. So, I mean, it seemed real.
You know that's why he started wearing glasses, so they can't get him in the eyeballs.
It is a good protection method. Then they got a lot of footsteps and knocking and stuff like that. And then at the end, they took their evidence, that rock incident, they took that to a professional and had them look at it. And the video photographer person or whatever they were, they said, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't see string or anything like that. This wasn't tampered with.
We're talking about the brick, or is that a...
That's a rock.
Oh, okay.
Thrown
Okay.
at him.
Okay.
But both of them were checked out by people and confirmed that they couldn't have been faked.
No, and guys, if you haven't seen it, the brick throwing incident, when they have lightened up the image so you can actually see it, you can see that it's a projectile. It's something that is being thrown.
Yeah, the way it's going, it doesn't make sense.
It arches.
It couldn't have. Oh, I mean, bricks don't fall or whatever.
But if it's on a string, it's gonna lift up and it's gonna go back down.
Yeah.
Even if it's going at an angle, it's gonna lift up and it's gonna go back down.
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
Yeah.
And
then so just the last little thing that I want to mention, and this is really small, but I thought it was really cool. So on the Ovulus, Nick was in room 109. He got the word placate. And he actually, which I think I would have to Google it too, but he goes, what does placate mean? And then on his recorder, he got an EVP that said placate.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
That's great. They're like, dummy, don't you know? Placate.
Yeah, placate. You don't know that word?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're
That's
ghost hunters, not
awesome.
English professors.
That's the kind of stuff that I
Not
love.
that it's that hard of a word.
No, but it's still, he's got it. He just cranked up the floor behind me.
Vroom. They're doing it more.
He's peeling out, guys. It's lunchtime. He's got to go get that Budweiser gum. So he got it on the Ovulus, which is always, it's a questionable device. It's something that spits out words. It's an immediate gratification for something in ghost hunting. But then you've got a voice on the audio device.
Thing.
It's the same word. Love it.
So other than you saying it's echoing the sound of him saying it, but it wasn't in a male voice either.
No.
It didn't sound male to me.
Yeah.
And it was fainter than his own voice,
Yes,
And he didn't say just placate. He said, what does placate mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was just impressive.
That is
for, the Ovulus is questionable. And when I'm watching shows or anything on YouTube that people put out and I'm trying to give you a list of the evidence, I'm going to leave out a lot of spirit box and Ovulus responses if they're not backed up by other things.
Right.
Even I saw a shadow figure or whatever. If I didn't clearly see it, if it's not followed up with something else, then, it's not necessarily that it has to come in threes for me, but I want to see like that there was something else to kind of back this evidence up that could be questionable or that I can't clearly see.
Well, I hear where you're coming from, but if I see a shadow figure, everyone's going to know about it.
Yeah, you can tell a lot in people's natural reactions too, whether you feel like they're faking it or not, or they're just damn good actresses actors. But, so we can investigate this like we talked about. All we can do is sit here and stare at it and
make friends with pigeons.
Watch everybody else coming by and oohing and eyeing at it. And that's sad, but maybe one day it'll open up. We would be the first ones busting through the doors to check out this place.
That would be awesome.
But for now, all we can do is respectfully lurk around the building and take pictures and peek in the windows.
As we so often do.
Yes. And we thought we got in trouble for yesterday.
Yeah.
But if you are listening to this podcast and you have a story from this location or even the International Car Forest, then then please feel free to write us. That is at creaturesofthenightparanormal@gmail.com, or you can leave us a comment on any of our forms of social media, which are listed in the show notes below. If you enjoyed our show and our witty banter, then please support us by subscribing and leaving a review. You can also visit our spiritual shop, The Spirit Emporium. We have not only helpful witchy type products, great for protection on investigations, but also bomb-ass podcast gear.
Yes.
One last plug, I swear, if you want to see what beautiful creatures make this amazing podcast,
I love that.
all you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. What is a YouTube so weird? It's such a dumb word. I really wish they would change it. YouTube channel. That is COTN Paranormal, which stands for Creatures of the Night Paranormal, if you didn't put that together. We post little clips from the podcast as well as from our adventures, which we are definitely on one now. So we're going to have a lot to post from this weekend.
Yes.
And from this podcast and on this location. And so on YouTube, that is a one-stop shop for all the fun things that we like to explore. And that is all that I got for you.
That's it. There's a whole lot of papers on the ground here in front of the Goldfield Hotel.
Just I just left them. I just
Here's my
flung
notes.
them up and we peeled out like that.
We could do that.
Bye, bitches.
It's such an awesome location, and the story that goes along with it. It's fascinating that so many teams have been able to get in here.
Yeah.
Especially some teams that are no longer with us, just due to seriously bad circumstances, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's historic on different levels, I think, for us.
I think so. It's epic in this way.
Yeah.
We became a group chatting about ghost shows.
Yeah.
And Ghost Adventures got their start here.
Right.
So I know this is dumb. It's a long jump. But it's
like full circle,
They
though.
started here. We started talking about Ghost Adventures, and that's how we both discovered that we were into the paranormal. So this place has touched a lot of lives. It's stupid to say, but it's
the truth.
Not just the people that actually, in the heyday of the building, came here and lived their lives and stuff like that, but with paranormal investigators, this building means a lot.
It does. So it would mean a lot for Red to be able to renovate like he wants to and open it back up. I mean, when I say it would mean a lot, it would mean a lot to me.
I think it would mean
Wendy.
a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, do that shit.
Yeah.
Told you, Great Wolf Lodge, man.
That
Call
that
them
would be
up.
amazing.
They'd have this shit ready in 6 months.
Yeah, haunted though.
Yes, keep the building legit. You just have to put the water park behind it.
Yes. Yeah, there's a little bit of room back there. Enough, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You got to get rid of those horses, all the poop around the place. I don't think that'll
You got
work.
to tell the cowboys to stop riding by, okay?
Yeah,
Come on.
This is 2020.
Well, that's all I got for you. We got to get on the road and into our next spot.
To our next spot.
Yeah.
This is an amazing story, and I'm so glad, Wendy, that you were able to drive us here so we could sit in front of it and do the show live. Again, I always say that word, and it's not live, but here on
location.
Site. Right,
Yeah.
on location.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to just remove live from my vocabulary. As a ghost hunter, it shouldn't be there anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel like it's real all inspiring to just be sitting here talking about it at the same time, looking at it.
Yeah.
Really just a vibe for the space.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that we got to come back and do this today.
Me too.
But now we got to get on the road. So.
Bye. Yeah, right?
All right.
Let's go.
Bye.
Bye.